Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. So today I thought I would have a look comparing Verdandi to Arthur. And yeah, they make a lot of comparisons to this. I mean, there are a lot of talks of comparisons with JP players. But it makes especially good sense for us to talk about it here, since both of these characters were both released pretty recently. And yeah, there are lots of similarities, so they're easy to compare. And some people would say, oh, you know, there's no question, Arthur is the better character. But I think it's much more subtle than that. There are situations where Verdandi is better, and there are other situations where Arthur is better, even though they are pretty similar. And yeah, the timing, I've said this before, but the timing for the release of the buff of Verdandi is a little bit funny, if you ask me. Because we got Verdandi about 6 months before JP got theirs, if you look at the timeline. And actually, we got Verdandi a little bit before Arthur. So I was wondering if that was going to steal some of Arthur's thunder. Of course it didn't. Everybody still loves Arthur. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Verdandi. If we look here at my most used monsters list, she's still #1, and she's going to stay there, especially after this buff. So I have a soft spot for Verdandi, and I'll try to find as many reasons as I can to support her, but yeah, Arthur's no slouch either, so... So first, let's look at stats. Alrighty. So actually, if you look at pure stats, Verdandi has the advantage in every category. Verdandi's HP is about maybe 1,500 higher. Attack, just passive, Arthur is higher, but with the gauge, Verdandi is slightly higher than Arthur. And then speed as well, Verdandi is faster. So in all stats, Verdandi is better, but Arthur is not bad. She's just average in every category, that's all. And yeah, if we look at the ability sets, here we see Arthur has no gravity barrier and no damage wall. And then Verdandi has the same, of course, but she has gravity barrier in the gauge. In this sense, Arthur has the advantage because there's no gauge needed to, you know, get both of the abilities out. And so in that case, Arthur is easier to use, and there's no chance of missing the gauge shot. One big advantage, well, I don't know if it's a big advantage, but one advantage that Verdandi has over Arthur, she does have a luck skill, which is a shield. And although you can't count on it, it can save your bacon. You can use Verdandi in Ashura, of course, and then Ashura has a lot of like high damage attacks, and if you can block one of those with shield, that's a big advantage. Arthur does not have that. And then next, if we look at their class type, Verdandi is a deity, and then Arthur here is a, Arthur here is a paladin. There are many paladins and deities as hatcher monsters that you can use to share class ableberries. But there are many more deity slayer bosses than there are paladin slayer bosses. So in that sense, Arthur has the slight edge. And then next, if we look at strike shots here, Arthur has the laser strike shot, while Verdandi has the becomes a pierce strike shot. And then yeah, let's look at the turn counts as well. So yeah, Verdandi can get hers off in 18 turns, and then Arthur can get hers off in 25 turns. Looking at just the turn count, Verdandi has the advantage. She can get out her strike shot earlier and thus more often. And then I would say that while Arthur's strike shot is very strong, if you watched the review video, you saw that Arthur took away about 1.4 damage from 1.4 million damage from Da Vinci. Verdandi's strike shot is more versatile. You can use her as an attacker, you know, just, you know, go back and forth through the boss's weak point to do lots of damage, potentially more than 1.4 million. But you can also use it to grab hearts if you need to. You can become a pierce type and go straight for the heart. Or specifically in the case of Ashura, you can use the becomes a pierce strike shot for positioning in order to get Verdandi out of, blast range of a certain strike shot. Arthur's strike shot, when she uses it, she stays in her own position, her current position. So you can't use a strike shot to get hearts, and you can't use your strike shot to improve her positioning. Yeah, you can really only use it if your positioning is already good, or if positioning doesn't matter. So in this case, I would say that Verdandi's strike shot is better. But yeah, it's a case-by-case scenario. There are a few times when Arthur's strike shot will be no good. One great example is a mission with laser barriers. In a mission with laser barriers, Verdandi has the advantage, just 100% of the time. Yeah, so that's something to keep in mind. Yeah, Verdandi, I would say her strike shot is a little more difficult to use, especially if you're trying to go for the back and forth, because you need to be very good with your horizontal or your vertical shot. Arthur's strike shot is very easy to use. You just point it and shoot. Okay, and then finally, let's look at the bump combos that these two have. Verdandi has that new bump combo where it's the 4 lasers, the cross lasers that go out and then bounce all around the screen. And then Arthur has the lock-on one-way laser. And these are both easy to use, and they are both damage sources. And that is where the similarity ends, I would say. Verdandi's bump combo, the Rebound X laser, it's great for covering the entire field. You can cover the whole field pretty easily and you can hit everybody at once. Arthur is more focused. The closest enemy that she is close to, she will shoot that one-way laser. And then I explained this in Arthur's review video, but shields and drones are kind of Arthur's weak point because they can draw the one-way laser to them and waste the bump combo. In Verdandi's case, it's not an issue. Shields and drones don't matter to her because her lasers will just go through them and continue and just hit everybody. So in shield and drone stages, Verdandi's strike shot is easier to bump combo is easier to use. But I would say overall, Arthur's bump combo is the one that does more damage. If you can get it right. We'll look at Verdandi's damage here. Oh, I do have the sidekick Abelberry, but let's see here. The usual damage for Verdandi's laser is about 3,500, and that's not a lot, to tell the truth. There are many lasers going through there, but they're all spread out and they don't do a whole lot of damage. And so, yeah, if you have just one Verdandi there, it won't do a ton of damage. It will make the zombie loop in Izanami easier, but you can't count on it to do a lot of damage to bosses, for example. So if you are using Verdandi, I wouldn't say that sidekick is necessary for her, but it's very useful. Yeah, every little bit helps. There is a way, however, to kind of concentrate Verdandi's laser, and then that depends on her positioning. If you can get her in the corner of a map, then when the lasers come out, they'll all, some of them will bounce in that corner, and then they'll, come out diagonally, and then hit the other corner, and then, come out diagonally again. So if Verdandi were in the corner, then you can concentrate all your lasers in one of the diagonals. And that's a way to do a lot of damage, to concentrate that damage. And so if you have a boss in the corner, and then you have Verdandi in the corner, you can, concentrate all those lasers in there. That's very situational and a little bit difficult to do, because you have to focus on your positioning. But that is a way to get the most out of Verdandi's bump combo. Arthur's bump combo, on the other hand, it's very high power all the time, and so you also kind of have to work on her positioning, but I would say it's not as difficult as the positioning for Verdandi. You just need to get her close to the target, and then the one-way laser will go through. And yeah, things change, however, when we talk about using more than one Verdandi, using 2 or 3 or even 4 Verdandis. If that is going on, then you have, lots of lasers filling the screen all the time. And yeah, missions become very easy when you do that. I've read a lot of the comments about the JP players that have been using Verdandi for a while now, and have been using teams full of Verdandi. And they say, yeah, they pretty much agree that one Verdandi is not going to do a whole ton of damage with her bump combo at once. And so a single one is very good for fire stages, particularly Ashura and Izanami. But if you have, 3 or more Verdandis all on a team, you can take them to any element mission outside of wood, and just fill the screen, and very easy to get speed clears and quick playthroughs. So yeah, if you have a lot of Verdandis, it might be worth giving that a try. Make a team of her and take her through. And yeah, I guess finally I'll talk about which missions both of these are good for, and then which are better for certain missions. Yeah, so I just brought up Ashura and Izanami. For sure, Verdandi is the better choice. She has the element advantage, which is really great, and then she also has better stats overall, so yeah. No comparison, I would say. Verdandi is the better choice for Izanami and Ashura. And then for wood stages, of course, Arthur is the better choice. But yeah, beyond that, you can use them almost interchangeably. If you worry about little subtle things like shields and drones, then you can go to Verdandi. If you want, if you're playing a dark mission and you want that element advantage from Arthur, use Arthur. But yeah, you can use them almost interchangeably, and then just keep in mind those subtle differences that I brought up earlier. But yeah, if you have either of these two guys, they are excellent for beginners. And yeah, in Verdandi's case, good for kind of intermediate players too, that can work on her positioning. Okay, so thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy these two guys. Take care.